Shalom. We're good, right? Thumbs up. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful Tuesday, May 17th, 2022 at 4:22 p.m. 2 minutes late today. Thank you, Mercury retrograde. I welcome you back to my channel, and I welcome you to my channel. If you're new to my channel, thanks for hanging out with us. I hope you like the content here, and if you do, please do surely subscribe down below. And if you want to make sure you catch things and don't end up being hidden in the back like they like to hide certain channels and put them in the shadows, make sure you hit that subscribe, the bell and all, and don't forget to check your cellular notifications. I am here every Tuesday for Tittel Tuesday Tea Time. Predictions update. So, always, if it don't pop up in your notifications, look, because I'm here every Tuesday. And I'm thinking about doing this Tuesdays and Thursdays because there's so much topics to cover and so much going on in the world and new predictions and visions that keep coming to me. I can't even keep up with the spirits lately. Also, don't forget to give me a like because I love you. Thank you all for your love, your support in any form or way that you bring that through to me. I appreciate it and couldn't spend all the amount of time doing this and doing what I do if it wasn't for you. And I appreciate you for that. And for hitting the like and the subscribe and all those good things. So we got lots of topics to talk about today. As soon as I can find my notes here, there they are. So today we're going to discuss all kinds of recent news stories like we do every Tuesday that align with predictions and or prophecies. And some of today's topics will be including but not limited to the real estate market and what's going to happen with that. Cryptocurrencies. And what's going to happen with that, and what just happened with cryptocurrencies. The real estate market, climate change, horrific Hollywood. Yeah, we got to talk about Hollywood today. Our queen, the Queen Elizabeth, not our queen, but England's queen, and a whole lot more, including many new predictions. So, hang out with me. Also down below, you'll find descriptions to all my social media pages, including the Awaken Your Spirit community, where we are hanging out on Zoom right now. And then, that love and support you can support by just being a part of the tribe, hitting the subscribe. You can also join this community and be a monthly supporter. Eventually, I will be doing different giveaways and things. Eventually, once we build up a group on there and two separate groups in the Subscribe Star group. That is just a future plan in my brain. Other than that, also down below, you'll find the link at the top to my newsletter, including PayPal if people want to utilize that. But my newsletter, when you open that up, you can subscribe at the top corner and just make sure that you, when you subscribe, that you confirm your subscription and that you make sure it don't end up in your spam folder. The current classes that are coming up, A Course in Divination and Transform into Abundance, the early bird registration, I can talk, is extended until the 22nd. And I will be sending out a new newsletter by tomorrow. So check all that out. So how about this? The darkest blood moon, according to many people and experts, the darkest blood red moon ever that people, experts, claim. These recent sun flares aligning with this weekend's blood moon eclipse during the retrograde is seriously, my friends, a biblical point in our time in history and soon to be history. Not only that, this clearly should show us and even really technically warns us of that of which is to come over the next few years and by the end of this year, 2022. And that's very symbolic in the whole twos and being in the 6th year that we're in and all the things that I've discussed with you since January 1st annual predictions. So as I previously stated also, the Earth's plates are making small shifts, and we see that with the amount of earthquakes that are taking place. I'm working on a weather video, or weather predictions, and I will have those weather predictions. I'm thinking probably Friday I'll go live with those, because I'm working on another piece that I'm going to upload and hopefully premiere that tomorrow. So again, all the more reason to subscribe. So during these shifts, for people that are new to the channel or don't understand, we go through these energy shifts that happen during retrogrades and the full moon. And it just so happened that this past weekend's full moon, blood moon, eclipse, and all this stuff all aligned on the same day is really, really powerful. Like I said, literally biblical. And then when that full moon comes during that cycle, that is the energy shift. that this one lasts 14 days until the day before the new moon that arrives. So that's when the Earth always starts to shake and shiver quite a bit. And we've seen that. And that's what Spirit showed me today, that the Earth's plates are making small shifts right now. So, no major earthquakes, but these small shifts that are happening in our plates, Spirit accordingly tells me that this is way more than normal. I don't follow that, and I haven't had time. I usually follow, what's his name, Dutch's dude that does the earthquake stuff when he does it every once in a while, but I haven't seen him in like over a month. I just don't have time, but I haven't seen notifications from that dude come up. So this, folks, I could tell you we can easily, again, assume that Spirit's showing me that these major plates, I got this whole thing that was really creepy today, and I lost my spot. I had a vision today, and the feeling was literally as if you had a dislocated shoulder or something, and they were snapping it back into place. That was the creepy, eerie feeling that I got today. Like snapping a bone or something back into place, which is shaking, and I could imagine, I wouldn't want to know, don't want to know or experience that. I can imagine the pain within that, but the shaking and snapping. These plates that are about to snap into place are actually going to snap back into the place of where they were during the previous shift on the Earth. So every approximately 32 to 3,300 years, the Earth goes through these climate changes and these big shifts and changes. And they, blame it all on us and such, but this is in our it's in the history, and they only tell you about the time of the dinosaurs, and they don't tell you and fill in all the gaps in between that we are going into the sixth extinction level on planet Earth. No, that doesn't mean that everything and everybody's going to be gone, but a lot of things are going to mutate into different things, and the creatures and even humans are going to mutate differently in accordance to the shifts that are happening on our planet and with the Earth. It'll be interesting to witness. Maybe not fun, though, either. But we're at that time that started to mark off that time back in December 21st in 2012 when we stepped into that Aquarian energy and age after that 3200 and that whole planetary alignment. So not only that, speaking of climate change, I thought this one was really interesting. And yes, sun flares, y'all, I talked about this last week, but even more so this past weekend. That's another thing that topped off the whole full moon thing, was this major sun flare activity. And a sunquake. I never even heard of a sunquake, but there was apparently this gigantic sunquake, which is an earthquake on the sun, but not on the Earth, so it's a sunquake. So this affects everything. This is affecting your emotions. This is affecting the way we handle those emotions. It's affecting your energy, and really, literally, it's like your guardian angels and the universe, the divine, God, goddess, whatever you refer to it as, is telling you to take a break, to slow down, and to work through our energy and emotional cycles. That's what this cycle is all about that we're in. That's why, in turn, as I told you in the past, when we go through these energies, people are very resistant to working on emotions, and they feed or plug deeper into that emotion and feed it like a fire. So people that get angry are going to become angrier. People that are sad are going to become even sadder or more depressed. And that's, again, mostly resistance to working through those emotions in some form or some way, whether it's through therapy or what have you. So therefore, this brings on more shootings, more things that happen in the world because, again, people can't control their anger. And I'm going to go into that in a minute. Let me talk about climate change for a moment, and talk about mind control and some of the other predictions that have come into fruition that I told you about that are actually happen. But I thought this was an interesting article from Euronews.green. Frustrated doctor diagnoses a woman with climate change in the world's first. Right? A Canadian woman has become the first patient in the world to be diagnosed as suffering from climate change after she developed breathing difficulties following a historic heat wave. So let's talk about those breathing issues and people and these kids with more asthma cases and more breathing issue cases. And let's talk about look up in the skies. And we know about the geoengineering they do. They admit to it. That is heavy metals that we are being exposed to. Barium, aluminum particles. Again, do your own research. Don't say it's conspiracy theory unless you know, because again, your government admits to it. And all you got to do is look up in the sky. And then when they bomb you when they really hit you with them, your weather shifts drastically within 24 to 48 hours after they do it. But those heavy metals will affect your lungs. We're breathing them in, folks. That's why, like, I try to keep everything closed. If they're really bombing us one day with their geoengineering, I make sure the windows are closed. I stay inside the best I can. Because again, that's all going to come down in their heavy metals. It's a fact. So, but this woman being diagnosed with climate change, just climate change, not climate change disorder. It doesn't say that. It just says suffering illness from climate change. I thought that was kind of interesting, and I thought that was just a new thing that they're going to throw out to people when everybody starts to get sick. And it's happening with people's health and people's health deteriorating. And when this starts to happen on a large scale due to other things that they have done, I'm not going to talk about that here, but you know what I mean. And going all back to a couple years ago, that is going to affect people's health, and they're going to throw something out like climate change is doing it. Yeah, let's blame the climate. And let's blame humans for it, even though that this happens in the universe, in our solar system every 3,200 years. Not just our planet is going through these major shifts, so are all the other planets. Mars having the biggest dust storm ever recorded, and all kinds of stuff happening on all the other planets. So, another one that I thought was interesting. Let me pull this article up. Hope your day's going well. Where'd it go? Boom. Yes, my tea. My Yogi Sweet Tangerine Positive Energy Tea. Signs in heaven, going back to the blood moon. Signs in the heavens, blood red skies in China. Blood red skies, and I don't know if you saw the pictures, Google them if you haven't seen them. It's really kind of creepy. I mean, the sky is blood red. And it reminds me of a movie. I can't remember, an old movie, maybe going back to the 70s, where the sky was red. I think the movie's titled Red something. Red October, maybe? Maybe it's Red October. It's the video. Remember the video had all red skies? So now China and this blood moon. And this article, which is on cbnnews.com, talks about this being a sign of biblical end times. Unique weather conditions in China's port city caused the sky to turn blood red last week and left many of the city's residents wondering if the end of the world had come. A sense of panic could be heard in the voices of some of the residents that they recorded an eerie phenomenon which was seen under thick layers of fog, according to the Daily Mail. Some thoughts of the red sky was an evil omen from China, for China. I would definitely say so. And red is actually the color that, red is very much associated with the darkness. People are like black candles. Actually, they use red more than anything. And red's a big color. After you have some types of healing done or detachments through shamanic work, some of them will tell you not to wear red for 72 hours. Kind of interesting, don't you think? But I thought that was an interesting article to share with you. Red skies, red moons, and I told you it's biblical. I said this back in January 1st predictions. So kind of interesting. Let's talk about the horrific Hollywood, the double H's. Horrible, horrific Hollywood. Because, it's a subject that people want to hear about it, even though I don't care to talk about it. People ask for celebrity predictions. I used to do a lot of them back in the day. I remember seeing headlines, Ledger passes, and then Heath Ledger passed that year. Lots of celebrity predictions, and I still get stuff, and I have some stuff for you today revolved around that. But I just thought it was humorous, and I don't usually, again, have time or watch this stuff, but I just had to tune in to watch the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing. All right, everybody's got to tune in a little bit. And the whole meltdown that she had admitting that she hit him. Well, let me tell you. I have a saying that I've created amongst many sayings. We become those in the energy of those that we surround ourselves with. So if you want to be miserable and hang around with miserable people, you sure will be. You could be happy. You know, you don't even need to be a drunk. Hang out with drunks, and before you know it, you'll become one. Hang out with joyful, successful people will make you joyful and help you be successful. It's pretty simple. So when you're hanging around that energy and you're plugged into that dark energy, and she's no saint. She's a star in one of the big Hollywood flicks, right? They're going to wash her away because Johnny Depp, think about this, is the biggest moneymaker for them. You know, I mean, he's like one of the top. He's probably in the top 5 in making the money. And that's their money train. And not only, like, he had 6 lawyers behind him in that courtroom. Insane. And I could only bear with it a little bit, and I just wanted to plug into both their energies. And I meant to throw out some cards to find out where this case would go, but I didn't do that. I forgot all about it, actually. But you can plug into her energy and see that she definitely, on an intuitive level, and from what I do, she has serious abuse issues going back to her past. And I believe these are associated with both her father and a sibling, a brother if she has one, or had one. So I believe there's multiple things there. And that's what I picked up from her. And then also he does have that, you know, controlling, overpowering energy, a bit of a control freak. And if he's partying, guess what? She's partying too. If he did drugs and she saw it, it's because she was there doing them too. Like, come on, like seriously. So this is what's happening with Hollywood though. And I told you this over a year ago, and probably again on my annual New Year's predictions, that Hollywood's going to become a big, you know, big highlight. And I told you Disney would, and Disney now is. It's time. That dark web is being dismantled, and it needs to be. So it's going to be interesting to see the drama that comes out of this. You know, and for her to step up and do this whole thing, if it's not all a show, because I wouldn't doubt it's all a show to take your attention off of everything else. I wouldn't doubt it was all arranged because they were going to get a divorce anyway. Making them both look like abusers, so it's balanced. You know, nothing surprised me. They're so rich, it doesn't matter. They don't care. I guess you get to that point where you don't care, which is pretty sad, actually. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. But not only speaking of that, did you read this one? Where'd this article go? I have it here. That Doctor Strange actress, Zara Fiathan. I think I said her name right. And her husband are convicted of multiple counts of sex abuse. This article comes from the 12th, 5 days ago, right after last Tuesday's show. And we all know about this story. This story's been going on for a while about, you know, the Doctor Strange actress and her crazy husband and what they did to a 14-year-old or whatever it was, however old they were. Really interesting. And again, this goes in line with predictions that I told you that Hollywood is gonna collapse and begin to fall like the rest of it. Everything, the whole structure that we are, not we, but many people, sadly the majority as of now, are very dependent on this system. And in order for something new to go into place, and for us to go back to the prophecies and predictions of the Lakota and the Hopi, that humanity would be forced to go back to the ways of our ancient ancestors, but in a more technologically advanced era, which would make sense to our technology now, and going back to these prophecies that are, you know, over 100 years old. So that's what's happening, and we see it. We see it with the breast milk in the formula. It's like, you know, in a roundabout way, forcing future women to be very focused and concerned about, like, considering, you know, breastfeeding again, and what to do about that. So again, there's a positive turn there, but everything's going to collapse, and Hollywood's a big part of it. I told you, I think it was in last week's predictions. I don't remember the exact detail. You'd have to go back and check it out. I'm pretty sure it was last week. I saw something with the Hollywood sign. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. It was definitely this month. But that popped into my mind. I remembered that. So strange deaths are going to begin to happen around Hollywood's elite and celebrities. Some are going to go missing while many seem to be dying. And some of them, again, they could be old, but we're going to see this pattern. Spirit showed me this today, of a lot of them dying and then a whole bunch going missing. Now, I'm tapping into that now, the missing part, because I didn't think about this earlier. So missing, what's that mean exactly, Spirit? And spirits, that's funny. They're funny. Oh, you know what I mean, says Spirit. No, I don't. That's why I asked, smart Alex. It's good to have guys with a sense of humor. Missing, because some of them are going to go into hiding, and some of them are going to be taken down and go missing. So again, it's the darkness covering its tracks to stop exposure to what's happening. You know, and this whole case that's going on with Depp and her, again, is a whole carnival circus event, you know, but it's still bringing out the amount of abuse and craziness that's going on in Hollywood with one of the top elite, you know, Johnny Depp. Yeah, partier, you know, and then James Franco, part of that, the whole little circle of evil and what they do too. It's kind of interesting, kind of sad too. But strange deaths is what Spirit showed me, people going missing, and some seem to die. Several legends will exit as well very soon by the end of this year. The fall season coming up, which is the spring season for you in the Southern Hemisphere, will trigger more losses. That'll be the big time pattern. October pops in my mind now, currently. And remember, again, my previous predictions about celebrities and the elite and some elite being assassinated. That's more of elite connected to corporations and big pharma. So it's happening. Spirit reminded me of the Sharon Tate and LaBianca murders, the Manson murders in Hollywood. And that popped up in my mind today, and I thought that was really weird for that to pop up. Sharon Tate, and I think I said it right, LaBianca, I only remember, if I remember correctly, it's been a long time. But why would Spirit bring a story that happened 50 years ago to my attention once again? Why? Perhaps a mock killing like that of the Manson murders, perhaps? It's the only thing I could actually think of as far as interpreting what Spirit showed me, or not even showed me. I just got that all popping up in my head with even flashes of like, the old black and white pictures that we all have seen if you watch documentaries or anything on that Manson murders. So something with that. Hopefully I'll get more information about it and more details and put it out to you in upcoming streams. So that's all the more reason. Don't forget to subscribe. Hey, don't forget that click that like button, please. Helps me. And when you do, it also arranges the algorithms here on YT to ensure that I pop up more. The more you like it, the more it tricks out the algorithm so that you do get the notifications and that things do pop up. So it's important to click those like buttons, not just here, anywhere else that you want to make sure that you're getting their information. So, moving on. So the coming collapse of the dollar and our current economical system. The elite, and Spirit showed me this again today, the elite have been moving their assets. And if anybody, you got any information on this, again, leave a comment and links down below on this video. That is the best place to send me news stories, links. And if you are going to post a link down below, please make sure you put a title of what it is, because otherwise it'll get deleted, because we never know what links could not be legit. So you got to tell us what we're looking at. And I appreciate when you tell me all that. Also, don't forget to stay tuned to the end, because I got to do my monthly segment, You've Got Mail. So the coming economical, the Spirit showed me that the elite have been moving their assets, according to Spirit, along with doing a whole lot of spending by buying things up. So, and we can definitely confirm that in one case, like Mr. G, ATES, that guy, who, as you probably are very aware of now, bought up as much farmland as he possibly can, and is currently the world's top owner of farmland in the world. And that's the video I'm working on that I hope to upload by tomorrow, hopefully. So you're gonna want to keep an eye out for that. I go into detail about that and show you about him buying up the farmland and everything. But Spirit says that we will see these actions by the elite more clearly over the next few months, in the coming months. Actions such as a sudden, I didn't fill in that. Anyway, so let me go back to that, because I didn't finish. I guess Spirit got quiet or something, or I got interrupted. So we were told that we will see this more in the coming months with the elite and their actions of moving their assets, which I don't know how that would be clear, if they're trying to do this in a shady way, but we will see. We'll see. I thought that was interesting, though. And I'll do some peeking and poking around on that as well. So a sudden fall in the real estate market. Now, I've been predicting this since at least January, probably further, going back. A whole, 2006? I think it was 2006, that whole thing. But here's the thing. That's part of what I just told you earlier about everything within this structure that people are so dependent on, collapsing before it can be rebuilt. You can't rebuild a building till you knock down the old building. And that's all the structure that humanity has become dependent on and even addicted to, not used to doing things differently. And that's what's going to be the shocker for humanity, is when we're forced to do things differently. For some people, not all people. And just embrace that change now. Start ahead of time. Embrace the change and know that all these big events that are going to come up are all about that. And moving and shifting us into the final prophecies of the earth, moving into the next cycle where all humanity come together and rebuild the earth. I want to be a part of that, and I hope you want to be too. So there's a super bubble that we're in with the real estate market right now. And real estate is way overvalued right now. A 34% rise in just 24 months. But now, mortgage rates went from 3.11% to 5.48%. So this is, it was 2008, not 2006. So it's a whole 2008 deja vu of empty homes and squatters. And Spirit says the squatter thing's happening on a large scale already. I don't know how to confirm that, validate that. But Spirit says it. I know that it's got to be the case. A huge rise in squatters, not just here in the United States, but abroad as well. That's already happening. But empty homes, property crash would actually literally be worse than the stock market crashing. If we had to choose one over the other, a stock market crash would be better than a housing crash, because a housing crash is going to bring a crash of everything. If we go through that whole thing like we did in 2008, it'll be worse. And that's what they want. They want it to be worse. So hold on to your assets, my friends, and invest in things that are physical, like silver, gold, and physical things, especially food, water, and all the supplies that you need, because as it goes up higher and higher, you're saving money by stocking up, buying an extra couple cans of whatever every week, whatever you can afford, even if it is just a couple cans. Couple cans adds up. That gives you 104 cans at the end of a year. That's good. Think about that. 104 cans if you do 2 cans a week of something. Or 2 things, just 2 of anything. 104 items in stock by the end of the year. This super bubble in the real estate market is going to pop. It's coming. But with the whole economy and everything that's happening, like I said before, but I'll repeat, that we're in a 6th year. It would make most sense that in an 8th year, which would be 2024, 8 is revolved around money and finances. That would be the year for things to collapse and new things to go into place. It would make more sense. And in order to get to that point, a lot of things would have to collapse first, as they are now. So sadly, controversy is going to arise around Big Pharma and one of their CEOs. Yes, take them down, baby. Take them down. That's what I say. Take them down. I see some type of future arrest with Big Pharma. Yeah, take them down. Remember the guy that purchased Big Pharma back in the day, a couple years ago? And I think it was a diabetes medicine. He went and tripled the price or something, and then whatever happened, then I think they arrested him, and he's in jail now because he, went into a market in an area, Big Pharma, that you're not allowed in. That's all about the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds who own it all. So, coffee shortages. Remember I told you all about coffee shortages, and to be aware of coffee shortages. Because I'm a tea drinker, and I've been looking to try to order the tea that I drink by the case. But it didn't make any sense because it wasn't any cheaper really than the grocery store by the time you paid shipping, so I haven't found that yet. I do have coffee supplies, and mainly for my guests when they come. I like coffee, but I used to drink it every morning, but now I drink tea, and I drink coffee every once in a while. But cocaine, yeah, driving that train, high on cocaine. A haul worth $50 million was found in coffee. Nespresso, of all coffees. Yes, the Nespresso coffee. This goes back to, again, a taking down of our food supply system and all. But this one's kind of funny because it's, again, everything, the darkness tries to plan things, but the light always comes in and kind of kicks its butt. So it's kind of interesting that all of a sudden Nespresso, which is a huge plant, all of a sudden they find $50 million worth of cocaine in their coffee. Workers at a Nespresso plant in Switzerland were jolted awake this week. Funny article, huh? When they found a half a ton of cocaine with street value of more than $50 million in a container of coffee bean bags. The shocking discovery was made at a Nestle's factory. Nestle's, man, that Nestle's company. They're the ones that take all your water and steal all the water and sell it back to us. That company, dark. Nestle's, dark, evil company. But anyway, yeah. And I know, without a doubt, that they found it and somebody made a mistake, and you know that's all an inside thing because the cartel's part of it all, and that's all part of that web. It's all connected, my friends. It's all connected. So some poor person's going to end up taking the rap for this and going to jail, even though you know it's probably the CEO himself that's helping import this drugs. It's unbelievable, man. This world, it's just unbelievable what they get away with. Last year, I talked about this a little bit last week, but then somebody in the comments, one of you beautiful friends, told me that I predicted last year that there was going to be a disease, allegedly, that could be created purposely, allegedly. You know, I'm not saying that that's the case. Just news articles do say. Targeting children. And I told you that they were going to go after our kids. They were going to go after fertility. And they're doing that. They're doing that with all kinds of methods, those sickos. That's why the whole abortion things come up too on top of it. It all has to do with targeting, you know, it's all their targeting tactics. So, last year I did say that, and then we have, somebody sent me a link, so let me just pull that up for a minute. What is it, the hepatitis, I think? If I remember correctly. Yeah, no, that's actually not it. But I just wanted to mention that. I don't actually have a link about it. But the hepatitis, one of y'all reminded me that I did say that last year. And now that's happening with kids. And I said it was a targeted type thing. So we'll have to keep our eye closely on what's happening with kids with hepatitis. I'm not saying that's the case or what it is. What I predicted last year, it could be something different. But it kind of almost looks that way right about now. Someone also sent me a link to a satanic temple asking Boston to be able to fly their their flag court, and this whole ruling on, you know, allowing them to fly their satanic flag. And they're going to win because they're going to throw religion and freedom of religion, and, you know, the Satanists run everything. And I just thought that was interesting. So whoever sent me that link, thanks for that news story. And let's talk a little bit about going back to shortages. And I got still a lot of stuff here. Jeez. Oh no, wait, sudden fall. So we know about what's happening with baby formula right now, and you also are aware by this point that all the baby formula that's along the border is filled up in warehouses that aren't available for Americans. But this has more to do with just baby formula. I told you they were going to target our kids, right? I'm telling you all, and I've said it before, start growing your own stuff, my friends. It's not that hard. You can grow. They have amazing grow things that you can stick in your house and grow if you eat salad, you can grow your own salad. Nothing like picking your own, I'm telling you. But also, going back to the shortages, India, if you haven't been aware, just banned all its exports on wheat. Right, wheat. That makes me think of pizza. And if pizza pops up in my mind, I love me some good pizza. And I have not found some good pizza out here in Arizona compared to Pizza Star in Levittown, Pennsylvania. Best pizza ever. But best pizza ever, especially with extra cheese. But that pops in my mind. And of course, wheat goes into making bread and dough and all that. So there's going to be a problem that's going to hit pizza restaurants as well. And you know the big ones like, the Papa one and the one with the Dominic's, no, the Damo, all those different big ones, they're going to have their pizza. They're not going to have any struggle, but it's going to hit the smaller people. So all you small business owners that make bread and dough and pizza or anything that contains wheat, you need to start stocking up for your restaurant if you want to continue to be in business when things go crazy. Really, really important. And I also was telling you amongst shortages, I think it was a couple weeks ago, I don't think it was last week, but it could have been last week. If not, it was the previous Tuesday. I talked about a shortage on eggs that Spirit was showing me. To go along with all the other shortages, that something was going to happen in targeting eggs purposely. Like, again, that they were going to purposely go after the eggs. They're going after everything on an individual basis. Well, on I-30, when was this? On May 16th, a crash spilled thousands of eggs onto the highway. The driver of an 18-wheeler struck a bridge in Dallas and crashed before dawn Monday morning, spilling more than 35,000 pounds of eggs. Just thought that was interesting. Because we were talking about egg shortages, and then this happened, and one of you sent me that link, and I just wanted to kind of share that because I just thought it was not that that's part of the targeting. It was an accident. He hit a bridge. Whatever. He should know better if he hit a bridge. But just to go into the shortages and how important this is, my friends. There's a buying frenzy happening in China right now, like a huge buying frenzy, and there is a current uptake and a buying frenzy here in the United States as well and globally. And that's not the article I was looking for, but we'll talk about that article in a moment. So this buying frenzy is not just happening. People are going back to what happened in 2020. People are starting to buy toilet paper, paper goods. People are starting to buy stuff up and stock up. I've seen this pop up on feeds, news, stuff you sent me the past couple of weeks. And it's happening here, and there's really not really, other than like us and me telling you that like we need to do this, but there's not there's not a breakout like there was in 2020 to get people to start doing this, but all of a sudden they are. And they're starting to buy up a lot of the same things that they bought during lockdown, like toilet paper. So I tell you folks, get your toilet paper because it already doubled in price. Imagine what it's going to be when they start buying it up again. They're going to be charging us freaking $10 for a roll of TP. We're going to have to start making our own. So here comes the Queen. Queen Elizabeth. We've talked about her a lot over the years. And I told you that Queen Elizabeth's health was going to fail terribly this year. And I didn't know this until I looked it up today, what year she's in numerology, and she's in a 4 personal year. She's in the same year that we were all in on the planet Earth together universally in 2020. So that causes lockdowns, restrictions, holdbacks, body, mind, spirit, health, and all those things. I told you that it was going to be a big news story that was going to be announced that the Queen was not going to attend and speak or whatever at a very important thing that she does every year. Well, that just happened. Well, not just, like a week ago. And I forget what the event was, but maybe something to Parliament. I'm not sure. But it was a big deal, and that she is not able to attend due to health issues. So 4 years, it's very potentially possible that she could pass away in a 4 year. I find it more common that people pass away in 9 years, personal years. Although Philip, her pedophile husband, he died in a 3 personal year. So not that it aligns with 4s, but 4 years are health related. That usually end up leading into major issues by the time they get into that 5. So next year would be even more of a big challenge and a potential for the Queen to pass away and die. It could very well be next year from health issues that she's dealing with currently this year. So, and sometimes it happens in the late 4 years. So it could be late this year or early next year. And usually it's right before birthday. So, and her birthday, I believe, I forget what her birthday is. I remembered, and now I think April? No. I can't remember. I think she's a Taurus, actually, but I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But in 2027, she'll be in her 9 personal year, and she'll be 99 years old. I told you 2025 to 2032 tribulation and all that's happening, major events. It would make sense that definitely she is not going to make it past 2027. 9 year 99. Which all adds down 9s. So, I mean, that could be a real huge sign, without a doubt, that 2027 would be her death date year. But at the same time, again, I wouldn't put it out of the equation that she passes late this year, early next year. And we are already seeing, and I said this to you when I told you that she was going to not speak at an event, and it would be a big thing because, you know, it's the first time she ever did that or whatever. And that's going to be the sign of the whole castle beginning to, you know, shift, change, and even begin to slowly collapse from the inside out. So we won't see it until it's on the outside, which is too late by then. So that's a change of power. So whoever's filling in her spot, Charles or whoever, we're going to continue to see that, to the point that we don't see her at all. For months on end, and that's when we know she's coming. And see, please, people with that she's dead and they killed her and Hillary Clinton's dead and Obama's dead, please save those comments for later. They are not dead. I hate to tell you. So I talked about cryptocurrencies to you all in the past. Cryptocurrencies, and I told you to not go into the cryptocurrency unless you really knew what you were doing. I told you that there was going to be several cases of people taking off with all the crypto money from particular specific cryptos. And I told you that there was going to be major crashes around crypto. I told you also Bitcoin, not to go into Bitcoin, that it's going down, not up. And hopefully y'all that have Bitcoin listen to me. And hopefully those that don't have Bitcoin now, not yet, it's going to keep going down. But the Terra Luna crypto, and why don't you send me this link? Because again, I don't pay attention, so please, you know, leave news story links and all below, like I said before. This is the beginning of crypto crashes, is what Spirit told me today. Going back to previous predictions, but now giving you more clarity on that past prediction. Spirit says this is just the beginning. Bitcoin lost, and so many others. But the Terra Luna, I mean, that went down, I think, like 99% or something, which is just crazy. It's like that's basically that all the money's gone, and it's a big deal, you know. So if you want to know more about it and you don't know about crypto, just Google or DuckDuckGo, Terra Luna cryptocurrency. Let's talk a little bit about energy. Speaking of things that are ran by energy, and again, many times it's come up about these major blackouts and things that are going to happen. And sometimes my predictions take 2 to 3 years to come into fruition. It's usually, a lot of times, it used to be within that window of 2 to 3 years. Like, what was it, 18, I said people were going to be walking around with masks on their face. And then it happened in 2022. It was quite a few years later. So I started having visions and telling you about these mass blackouts years ago. So we're at that point where this is it, folks. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming really, really soon. So electricity shortages is what they're going to say. Electricity shortages that are going to bring major outages this summer, and they're going to do this when it is at the hottest ever. Folks in California especially, watch out, because you're not going to have no air conditioning, and it's going to be when you hit record-breaking temperatures. So keep your house cool, keep your shades down, and keep the house cool, even if you have to put a jacket on in the morning. Keep it as cold as possible so that when you do lose power, your house don't warm up in an hour. You at least get a few hours out of it. Some people are going to be without energy for up to 7 to 10 days, according to Spirit, due to shortages, not because of weather, because it's separate. Weather is weather, and we get outages from weather all the time. Anybody could say that and call themselves psychic. No, this is not related to that. This is separate. Shortages, but there's more to this that Spirit showed me. They're going to blame some of these outages are actually going to be caused by sun flares. One of their biggest worries, because our electrical infrastructure is already way outdated. But while others, they're going to blame. So there's actually literally going to be outages that are going to be legitimately caused by some flare. So remember that, and don't say right away that they made it happen. But at the same time, Spirit showed me others will be blamed on sun flares. So I would take it as the first ones that happen will be sun flares, and then afterwards they're going to keep blaming it on sun flares. That would sound more like what they would do, right? And they're going to be blamed on... I'm sorry. I'm missing a word here. I don't know what happened with my typing. But there's going to also be outages that are related to a cyber attack. This is going to include a so-called cyber attack on one smaller, but not that small, city or town. And an area is going to be, kept in the dark due to, again, they're going to say a cyber attack. And I feel like this is a test. This is their first test in doing this. And I'm pretty sure, I believe this is in the United States. And it's an easy guess that they're probably going to blame Russia, of course. Oh, thank you, Jillian. I love you, Jillian. And anybody else that put chat cash through, because I couldn't do this without you. And if I missed you, I apologize. But thank you, Jillian. And somebody sent something through PayPal. I'll thank you, too. So, again, outages that are going to be blamed on cyber attack. A small one, but not that small. Again, it's a small town or city, but it's not that small. It's still a town or a city. And remember me telling you this today. The evil doers are doing it from the inside. And I also had this feeling today that they were going to use somebody on the inside to take the blame, even though somebody in the inside is actually flicking the switch off. It's not a cyber attack. They're just simply putting the switch off because they're being paid to do so, and turning it back on when they're told to. So speaking of shady things, Lake Mead. Y'all gotta have heard about that by now, and all the bodies, the ones they found, one in a barrel, and all the bodies they're finding in Lake Mead because it's drying out. And this is happening other places as well. And it's kind of interesting because, again, I talked about for years, and not just me, a lot of people, about the truth being revealed. I said this 10 years ago, back in 2012, 2011, probably even before that, but whatever. And it's happening, folks. That's another thing about this cycle. We're in this 14-day cycle. Not just the 14 days, but especially this 14-day cycle, the truth comes out. You cannot, lie and get away with it. That's why probably Amber Heard, got caught lying and hitting on Johnny, which is just funny. But that's the time we're in. So Lake Mead and bodies being discovered will eventually lead police to a criminal serial killer of sorts. I'm thinking probably mafia-related. Bodies showing up from dry lake beds and other weird off-the-wall places is going to be bringing this creepy energy along with it to these times that we're in. And that's already like a creepy thing. All of a sudden, bodies underneath the dried up lake. But Spirit showed me that there's going to be odd things happening. Not just that, but bodies showing up in other odd forms. This would go back to what I said earlier about a lot of missing people cases being rediscovered. They're going to actually, and actually I didn't say it yet. It's still in my notes. My bad. So these lake beds and this creepiness coming around these bodies showing up is actually also a good thing at the same time, because missing cases will become solved. And Spirit told me today that there would be a huge increase in the percentage of missing people cases being solved and also being found. And I thought that was a great positive thing to hear. So yeah, the lake bed dried up, bodies are being exposed. Well, now families are hopefully going to be able to identify their loved ones that are missing. Not only that, now with today's forensics, they're going to start being able to lock people up that belong in jail and should have been in jail a long time ago. That's beginning away from this. Everybody says that. It must be your generation. Because all my friends, older friends, said that. That same thing must be Jimmy Hoffa. Or maybe they'll find Jimmy Hoffa. Nope, Jimmy Hoffa is buried in concrete at the goalpost at Giant Stadium. So that ain't happening anytime soon anyway. So a huge increase in solving and finding missing children and missing people. I think that's a fabulous thing. Did you hear about that new black hole in the galaxy? I didn't get a chance to look it up. I wanted to. I'm not sure if it's true, but I bet you it is. Well, my friend told me about it, but it doesn't mean the article that she read it from. That our galaxy has this sudden black hole that just showed up that wasn't there before. Well, you all know about CERN, right? CERN, CERN. That was another thing I forgot. I wanted to do a video on that, and I totally forgot about it. CERN, with their big statue of Shiva, the goddess of god of darkness and destruction out front of their thing, that underground hadron collider, that they're trying to collide atom particles together to come up with the God particle. And a lot of people don't know this, and that was shut down for years, especially during 2020 in lockdown. And just this year, they started to fire up CERN once again. And I think that they did it in April. I forget there was a date. I tried to look it up, and I couldn't find a date when I was thinking about doing a video on it. But all of a sudden, the black hole shows up. I have no doubt that this has something to do with CERN. No doubt that it has something to do with that. I just thought I'd bring that to you. So also, speaking of bringing to you the dates, May 22nd and May 29th. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. Very significant dates and time to pay very close attention to. And so the 22nd is what, this weekend? Sunday? I think it's Sunday. And Sunday is a holy special day, as is. So pay attention to what happens on the date, the 22nd, and look out for the 29th as well. And some of the things that I've talked about today, prediction-wise, and what I'm going to tell you, and the few predictions I'm about to give to you before we end today's broadcast together. But I can't go on without talking about UFOs and aliens, like Elon Musk, an alien deep from the darkness. How about that congressional thing today? Didn't I tell you that UFOs were going to become the biggest story and the biggest thing, one of the biggest things of 2022? And the UFO sightings and sky phenomenon would become one of the biggest topics of all in 2022. And it's happening. And I started to watch it. I didn't have time. I'm going to watch it, listen to it tonight, actually. The whole Congress meeting. But, my dad told me that they didn't, again, they're not going to tell you anything. They're just not going to tell you. And maybe after I get done watching it, if there's good material, I'll do a UFO video for you. But I have to watch it. But I just thought that, again, they're throwing this out in front of our faces about the UFOs. And, now we're going to start, putting together a team of UFO people for the government. And, what a bunch of hocus pocus, right? They're trying to prepare you for something, is what they're doing. Speaking of preparing, I had a vision. And this moves on more to predictions, actually. Yes, this is my specific... I gave you some predictions, but I have a whole list of them here for you today. Quite a bit, actually. Where'd it go? Oh, yeah, I had a vision of U.S. naval ships in a V formation heading out into the sea, and it looked like they were rushing out into the sea. I can't give you any more than what the vision that Spirit showed me today. And that vision was just of this formation of Navy ships going out into the sea. I would imagine that it couldn't be a positive thing. After that, Dallas, Texas popped into my mind today as well. And I feel that Dallas popped into my mind because it has to do with a disastrous weather event that's coming their way. Again, all the more reason to subscribe and stay tuned because I will be doing weather video. Hopefully Friday is the goal. And I'll tune in more to what this disastrous weather-related thing can be. But I did a couple months ago, my past weather prediction video was focused mainly towards the hurricane names and such. And I would think that whatever this disaster is coming to Dallas, and I do have this vision of literally roadways underwater completely. Even overpasses, and the water is up to the overpass. So whatever's happening, it's definitely weather related. At the same time, Florida kept coming into my mind in many different fashions right after the whole Dallas, Texas. Controversy around their politics, of course. Big summer storms that will hit, including South Beach, Fort Lauderdale, and the Keys. Also, some type of bizarre shooting event or events that are coming. And that's what I got around Florida. I discussed mass shootings, speaking of shootings, in the past affiliated with energy cycles like the one that we're in that brings out people's anger and such. I also told you all that there was going to be a coming influx of shootings being streamed live on social media. Well, mostly by the killers themselves, of course. I recall also mentioning that I saw or thought of the movie Saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, 12, 15, and a copycat killing sort of like that will also be streamed. But lastly, I also mentioned a mind control attack, that somebody was going to be put under their government mind control techniques and do a shooting coming up in the near future. I said that, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago. I just said it recently. And the sad attack that just happened in, what state was it in? I'm drawing a blank. But you know, the big one where 10 people were killed, sadly. The man was said, it is said, allegedly, that the man claimed that he didn't even remember shooting anybody. He didn't remember doing any of it. Now, what are they going to call that? Schizophrenia, mental illness? Or does it sound like a method of mind control? Right? Kind of sounds like a method of mind control, don't it? Especially because I said it a week ago and then it happened. Like literally not far after I said it. I also told you about grocery stores and a fight over food. Not that he was fighting for food, but didn't this happen in a grocery store? I believe. I think it was a grocery store. I forget where it happened, but you all know what I'm talking about. I also told you about a shooting outside of a stadium. And that someone sent me a link and I couldn't find it before I started today's show, but apparently that happened. So, sad times that we're in, that people have to go out and harm other humans. But also it goes to show not that there's a good reason to do such a thing. It's a horrible, horrific act. But it also shows how horrific of a place that person is in to feel like that's okay to go do something like that. Unless they're under the control of mind control. And in some cases, a lot of times I told you it's a demon attachment. The dark demons attached to them and get them to do that. That's why they say the voices in my head told me to do it. But this particular guy said, I didn't do it. I don't remember doing that. I didn't do that. I find that very interesting. And that I would definitely have to say aligns with what I said in my prediction previously about a shooting that would be controlled. Like a controlled substance, a controlled shooting. And you know, I wouldn't doubt, I don't know, what's her name? Reese Flex, I think. She's good at reporting stuff and going in and finding stuff. It helps confirm things. So I don't know if she did anything on this yet. Again, another thing I haven't seen pop up on any of my feeds, but on my notifications. So anyway, moving on. Remember when I discussed the coming attack on churches and an attempt to begin burning down our churches? And another Notre Dame type church being set ablaze from within. This attack on churches and Christianity will also come in the form of shootings, as it did on Sunday's shooting in California, injuring 5 and killing 1. This brings to mind the shooting in the Southern Church years back with that kid. Another sick, sad thing, and he was white and he went into a black church. This particular case in California he was Asian, and I'm pretty sure it was an Asian church because it said 5 Asian people were killed from the article I read. And his whole excuse, I'll tell you about that in a minute, but let me just finish. So this church attack, and thinking of the one that happened down south, which was really, really sad as well. They're all sad. But Spirit showed me that these crimes, out of the masses that are going to be happening in more masses, are related to, they're going to push it onto making it related to racism, or look at the case in California. He said it had to do with Taiwan. So not that's a hatred towards a place. It's not racism. Maybe we call it countryism. I don't know. But so this is part of the evildoers' goal in trying to accomplish 2 things at the same time. They want to, a war against Christianity, along with dividing the people more and using racism as one of their weapons. It's sad. We all should love one another, period. Sheriff Don Barnes describing the shooting in California as a politically motivated hate crime. There we go, politics. So political, politics, racism, anti-politics, all of it, all wrapped up is what they're pushing out in front of people in mass media. Citing that this politically hate crime, citing that handwritten notes recovered say that he was upset about a political tension between China and Taiwan, which brings me to that subject. Is this a sign, folks? Is this a sign from this article and what they're saying that there's turmoil coming out of Taiwan? Well, I said it before in the past, but I got more information, and I assure you that's exactly what this message is that the dark evildoers are trying to send with the shooting in California. It's just like a roundabout, like their Illuminati cards telling us that, hey, we're gonna do lots of evil and darkness. This guy happened to be from Vegas too, by the way. He drove all the way from Vegas all the way to California to this church to do this. I told you about something bad coming out of Vegas, but anyway, I thought it was interesting. But something, I'm not going to talk about Vegas now because I don't remember, but I've mentioned Vegas before in past predictions. I see a major displacement of at least or up to 1 million people coming due to some type of major weather event that could include flooding or major quakes. And if it is all weather related with this big displacement that's coming, I asked if it was war earlier today, and I didn't get anything on that. So that's why I concluded weather. So when I work on my weather predictions, I'll get more detail on that. I see huge issues coming out of New York City. I saw the streets being blocked off, police lights, people rushing and running down the sidewalks in the streets. I get a feeling of panic and a feeling of a pouncing vibration while seeing these visions today. Smoke, I couldn't tell, the vision became a little foggy. So I don't know if it was my foggy vision or if I did see smoke. Perhaps an explosive of some kind, hence the pouncing vibrations that I felt as Spirit showed me this vision earlier. 2, perhaps 3 in all, because I felt like 2, then maybe 3. So I would imagine this would have to be some kind of explosion. This certainly looks very much, it reminded me like totally New York City. I mean, I couldn't envision it being any other city in my visions, and I know New York, been there many times. I have lots of friends there actually, but I couldn't imagine it being a different city than New York. I also saw in headlines, but the headlines were cut off. And all I got out of the headlines was concert goers. It was the weirdest thing. I'm like, where's the rest of the headlines, Spirit? I can't see it all. So this also gives me a feeling of panic when I saw concert goers, and then a feeling of panic. And then Spirit showed me a vision of people actually storming out of a stadium or a building. It looked like a stadium. And that's all I got. But this could go back and link to my past predictions where I said about shooting within a concert arena. Kind of like what happened in Vegas years ago. They could go together. And this is why it's good to do this every week, because I get more pieces. And then sometimes we can together put these pieces together. Together. How about that? Let's finish up with this. And then you've got mail. Wildfires are going to be really sad this year. But Spirit, and this is really interesting, my friends. This is an interesting one. Spirit said to me, keep a very close eye on where the fires actually ignite, but do so by checking the maps, and do not believe anything you read or hear in news media as to how these fires are alleged to start and where they actually started from. So if they tell you it started there, don't believe it. Spirit said, look at the maps and fire maps, I'm sure, which they have. And scope out the maps. But I was also told to pay close attention to the wildfire that comes close to the rich and elite. So to the, billionaires' homes or whatever. But somehow they escape the fire's wrath, while everybody else's properties and such are destroyed. This is not going to be a coincidence, my friends. Like a firebug who is known, firebugs are known to start fires like right near their own home. Sometimes the neighbors, or sometimes across the street. Like firebugs are known to start fires in their own neighborhood. So, and I thought of that. I thought of that, you know, when Spirit told me, pay attention to this really big fire that's heading towards the rich and the elite, and then all of a sudden it goes different direction or it goes out or whatever. And that's not by coincidence, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. I don't know if that's California, you would think, you know, but there's rich and elite people other places too, so could be another country. I don't even know if it's United States, quite honestly. So Oklahoma kept popping in my mind. That was the last thing that popped in my mind today. Perhaps part of the coming wildfires. I don't know. Not sure. But that's what I have in the way of predictions. And now you've got mail. My post office box is down below. And first, I want to thank my dear, dear Gwen for this beautiful tea and this awesome tea. I haven't opened it yet. I wanted to, but I wanted to save it to show everybody because I thought it was so cool, this assortment of teas, and I can't wait. And actually, I'm going to try one tonight with my dinner. Maybe chamomile to chill out and relax. Then I got this really cool card here that says, in every walk with nature, one receives far more than what we seek. And isn't that the truth, though? When you go out into nature, it's amazing. And I've been telling you all that so much. I'm not going to read the whole letter because I don't have my glasses. But this is from Pauline, or Pauline, who sent me this. And I was actually quite shocked when I opened it up and there was cash in there. And thank you, Pauline, for that, because I went and got my hair cut with that today and gave a nice tip, too. So thank you. I appreciate that. Much love. And then I got this little contraption, this little metal thing that I'm not sure. It says quantum energy DNA cell healing. And I don't know what to do with this, my dear Carolyn. Sorry, I can't see crap all of a sudden. Carolyn J. Carolyn J, it doesn't tell me in your note, enclosed is a card which I hope will help you with your back pain. Back pain? Knock on wood, I'm good with back pain, but the cell protector helps against 5G. So I don't know what I do with this. I don't know if I slide it in my cell phone. I don't know if I put it in my pocket. So please let me know there, Carolyn. And thank you so much. I thought that was very thoughtful and sweet, as it is from all of you. And then, this is really kind of cool. I got all excited. I haven't even gone through these yet, but I wanted to show you all. Because you know that I'm trying to accomplish and gather together the Illuminati cards. And somebody helped me to really get a collection going. A really good collection. And sent me all her extra cards. And I have to go through them and see what I have, you know, because I think that's so awesome and so generous so that I can eventually do a video on the Illuminati cards with the actual cards in hand. Because I can interpret them better. It's hard to do it when you're looking online. Joseph, here are some Illuminati cards. I purchased a couple lots of them from eBay a few years ago. When I found out about them, I sorted out my doubles for you. They are a game, but I find them freaky. You can read all about them. Oh, I know all about them, my dear Francine. Thank you, Francine. That was so sweet and generous of you, and I am so excited to, as much as I don't like the Illuminati, but these cards can help us predict the future. I mean, look at some of these cards, some of the stuff that they say. Fast food chains. I never saw that one. United Nations. Again, it's a game, and I will do a full documentary video on it eventually when I get enough cards to be able to show you. Because there's even a card with the Twin Towers being hit by a plane. These cards were put out in 1993. How is that possible? Yeah, how is that possible? That ain't no damn conspiracy, that's for sure. And then I got another one. Another 2 Illuminati cards. And there's no note in this one at all. Damn, I don't have my glasses and I can't read this. Harry? I think it says Harry. Terry. Thank you, Terry. I don't have my glasses, but Terry sent me a couple Illuminati cards. And then the last thing I got, I'm not really sure what it is, and I won't open it because it's powdered in a baggie, and you don't open up powder in baggies if you don't know who it came from. But the thoughtful letter and note that all came in, and I can't even say your name, and I don't know if this is you or if that's you, but I can't say this person's name. I'm sorry if I can't. I can't read. I do apologize. And there's some things in here, and I'm not sure exactly what they are, but I will read more. Oh, wait. I didn't see this before. Habooty? Did I say that right? Habooty. Habooty. Hey, habooty. Flowers, leaves, fruit, and other edibles have a temporary life. Even water breeds germs if it kept in the vessel for days. Only viputi remains unchanged, as it is the final result of 5 elements of creation. Our desires have reduced to ashes, and this is symbolic of the detachment of renunciation. Very interesting, very cool, and thank you for that. Sorry, wait, oh wait, here's your name in here. Lad. Hello, Lad, Mr. Lad. Thank you, Mr. Lad. That was very kind and generous of you. Thank you all so much for subscribing. Don't forget to click that like button. Thank you, Jillian, for your chat cash, and somebody sent some through PayPal. I heard it come through, and let me just say thank you to you. And that would be, first person would be Medora. Thank you, Medora. I like that name, actually. Medora. And Sandra. Sandra, you're just so good to me. I love you so much. And I love all of you for hanging out with me today. And I will see you again within the next couple days, actually. So keep an eye out for that. And I'll see you again as I do every Tuesday. If you got news stories or links, always link them down below, of course. Love you lots. I hope you have a beautiful day. Remember to celebrate life and celebrate you, because you deserve it. And these times we're in, if you're having troubles and struggles, remember this too will pass. And things are only going to be brighter at the end of the road. Have a beautiful rest of your day, your evening. Spiritman J.T. signing off. Namaste. Much love.